What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of the What the Fanboy Show.
How's it going? Smooth.
You alright over there?
Me?
You good?
Or him?
You. Both of you.
Why?
All of
I
us.
have gaseous issues.
Oh my goodness. Well, tonight we are gonna get into some big reviews here in a few minutes, but before we dive deep into those things, I want to, since Tyler missed out on our Peripheral talk last week, he hadn't been caught up, I wanted to make sure we had the opportunity to get his thoughts on episode 3, and then we can talk real quick about episode 4. It's kind of what we're going through right now. Do a little TV talk, deep dive, just for a few minutes, and then we'll get into the episode proper. So Tyler, what did you think of 3 and 4?
So I watched them pretty much back to back.
Sure.
So it's hard.
I mean, they may blend together. Well,
it's hard to differentiate.
You're fine.
But I did really like both episodes. I really like what this show's doing. I really enjoy kind of this genre of thing, whether that be across books, games, movies, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think this show is doing a really, really good job of moving this story along at a pace that feels natural. I think my biggest takeaway, without diving into individual scenes, is I've heard a lot that William Gibson, who is the author of this book, writes very kind of complex stories. And I can see that starting to kind of unfold.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. I'm really excited for it.
Cool. Luke, what do you think about 4?
I love how they deal with her body when she's not in it. I just think it's hilarious. I just playing Foursquare.
Yeah.
She's in a box, just like all over the map.
How much of a running gag do you think that was, like, on set when they were filming it? I bet they were thinking of just like the most ridiculous things they could do
For sure.
to not feel like out of the show.
Yeah.
Yep. Are we? I can't remember. Are we doing like spoilers at all, or?
I think so. I mean, this is kind of what TV Talk's all about.
Yeah.
Is get into some of those spoiler things.
Dive in.
Okay, then.
So yeah, we are going to be talking some spoilers for Peripheral for just a few minutes. You can always jump back here, and probably by 8:15 we'll be moving on to other things. So
I feel like it's a story beat I should have just known they were gonna do, which is having the guy with no legs walk in the robot body.
Yeah.
And they did, and I was like, of course. And I'm really excited for his story. I think it's going to be really good.
Yes, and we've seen some like hints at it in trailers.
Yeah, there's looks like an army flashback.
Yeah, and like what we kind of get in episode 4 is that they want 2 more peripherals.
Dude, that's going to be so cool when they're all dropping in their robot bodies in the future.
Well, and I wonder too, the question I have for that specifically is, how does Burton's haptics impact how his body interacts with the peripheral? Like, that's the question that is in my mind constantly.
Double haptics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, is he basically going to be, like, Bruce Lee in Superman's body? Like,
Golly.
he's going to be insane, right? Like, I'm just very curious how all that works. Also, I can't remember her name, but the lady from Bly Manor is an awesome, awesome, awesome villain. Freaking love her.
Yeah.
She's so good. So good.
You know, I could not remember where she was from.
Yeah, she's
from Bly Manor. I'm watching every episode like, I know I remember her from
I had
something.
to look it up, because, like, she comes into the...
I thought it was like the 100 or something.
She comes in, well, because Eli is from the 100, or the 100, so it's kind of... It's so weird that he's in that. But yeah, Bly Manor. I was watching it, and I was like, dude, what is she from? I thought it was Paper Girls. I thought it was the lady from Paper Girls.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no.
She's from the 100.
Yeah. I was like, that's not her. And then I had to look it up, and I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I think she's also from Harry Potter. I almost said Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
But no, she's a great villain. I'm very excited. She's ruthless, too.
Yeah.
Ruthless. Super in for that.
Yeah.
Another character who's ruthless, who don't know if he's bad, but the dude who like hired
Lev.
Yeah.
Lev's
He's like, I'm gonna kill my family. It's like,
Oh no!
Oh, like my trust with you just went out the window.
Yeah. So my question, I do have a question on that. Like, he kind of gives like this really veiled speech about existential nihilism, and I was like, what is he saying? Like, what are we going for? Like, what is he saying there? I don't really understand his motivations yet. And that was when I was like, now I believe the things about William Gibson. Now I understand. I'm very confused, sir.
Is he an interesting fellow?
He's just the author. And everybody's kind of criticisms about his books is they're just really hard to understand.
They're complicated.
He's often compared to
guy.
Philip K. Dick.
Sounds like a perfect pairing with Jonathan Nolan and or Lisa Joyce.
Yeah.
They like to take on those complex writings and authors and deal with big ideas like that.
He's often compared to Philip K. Dick, so Blade Runner, and stuff. So no, I think it's awesome.
Yep.
We also, sorry, this is more episode 3, but
that's okay.
We got some reveal about kind of Wilfred and
his past in Alita.
And Alita.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was so weird because I noticed it in the first few episodes. They referred to him as Wilf and Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why are they doing that? And I'm glad, like, I thought maybe that they were like, are we, like, did they forget his name when they were writing this? But, like, obviously it serves a story. So I thought that was just really interesting.
That's one of those little things that I really appreciate when shows or books or movies do. It's like there's, people will have little nicknames or, refer to you as maybe something slightly different. And to keep that continuity in the show where it might actually confuse people, as long as it's addressed at some point, then I think that's good. I think that's just good writing.
I think the way it was addressed. The way it was addressed was really good too.
Yeah.
It was, we're going to show you it first and then we'll explain it.
Yep.
And I like that.
Yep.
Are we addressing chat?
Yeah.
Because I think Game Lord Master brings up an interesting topic.
Absolutely.
About Lev. You brought up Lev and how he kind of went back and wiped out his family.
They mentioned stubs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like multiple timeline type of things. Because he talks how he does it multiple times. Like, new stub, kill the family again. Which just gets into the whole, like, Back to the Future timeline argument. How, there's really no rules with time travel. It's just what rules you make up for your own property.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe
hopefully it's not too confusing.
Yeah, I wonder if there's there could be an interesting thing there with maybe, like, I don't know. I feel like this show could get away with trying something like splicing timelines together or something. I don't know how in the world you would make that possible, but
well, I feel like
the
one of
jackpot?
the two things that, like, are kind of revealed, one a little and one a lot, was we, like, learned what the jackpot is,
right?
Which was like every tragedy, nuclear apocalypse type thing you could have in one. Like, every year there was something new. Sounds horrible, man. And then the other thing was with what's going on with Flynn, because she's clearly unhealthy.
Yeah,
her
headset
peripheral is messing her up a lot.
Yeah,
I'm really curious with where that leads, because they've alluded to it a lot that something happens to her.
Yeah,
and they know there's a reason why they're probably using her.
That's the big season 1 finale.
Well, and I think one of the things this show does so well, and that I appreciate about it, is it presents a mystery, and it doesn't take a long time for it to solve it for you. But the one mystery that will be is Flynn and what's going on with Flynn. But I really like that, they just started really using the jackpot in episode 3. Episode 4, they tell you what it is. Like, they bring Connor into the fold. Episode 4, he's making decisions and doing things right away. Like, every time you like, they reveal some new variable, they use it. It's not like, here's this thing, we'll talk about that 6 episodes from now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I forgot about that by now.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really appreciate the pace at which they introduce and use new things.
Yep. Yeah, and that our last TV talk segment was on Lord of the Rings, and we talked about how some of those mystery things, they kind of dragged on episode after episode. They just kind of spun their wheels, and I agree. I feel like they're not doing that.
No.
We're going to tease you with something, and then we're going to run with it.
Yep, we have the big thing, and then all these little like mystery boxes we're going to give you, we're going to open those up pretty quick.
Yep.
Because they're important to where our characters are going.
Yep.
And I just really like how they've paced this show. I think it's paced so incredibly well. Like the episode 3 is 72 minutes. I feel like I watched a 30-minute TV show.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it.
It's like, oh, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Next, I suppose.
Yeah.
And not enough shows can do that effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate just their pace. It's been really good.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right. Any final thoughts, predictions as we go into? We're probably just about at the midway point. I don't know. Is this?
I think it's 8.
8 episodes.
That's generally Amazon.
Probably 8.
Yeah.
8.
So we've hit the midway point. Now we're moving into this second half of the season.
I think I'm with Luke. I'm just really excited about adding 2 more peripherals, and just kind of seeing how they. Because Connor tried to screw everything up. I'm curious to see how they kind of impact the relationship.
Yeah.
With Lev and Wilf. Also, Wilf, Flynn being able to tell when he's telling the truth or not. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And him just going like pretty much back in time to her VR movie.
That was
cool too.
Awesome scene, by the way. Like when she pauses it when he shows up. So cool.
Yeah.
Very neat. Very neat. I like in the chat, Game Lore Masters says, I think it's still all a game. It's all just a sim.
That's a good theory.
I do have a theory too about not necessarily that, but yeah. My theory is that Lev is actually a peripheral that's kind of become sentient and is running everything.
I like it. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, I think that's a perfect opportunity for us to transition here over to our proper show. This week we have a ton to talk about, so we're going to try and blast through a few of these things.
Blast! Gonna blast!
Going at full throttle. I'll start off
Jimmy Neutron
with a couple things here. First off, I went out and saw the Banshees of Inisherin. Inisherin. Look, I had this conversation on another podcast. I think if I could speak with an Irish accent, I could maybe make this sound convincing. The pronunciation of all of their names and places, but I can't. So, so
I'm too scared to even try.
Colm and Podrick. Podrick's just gonna be. It's just Podrick, but it's like an A, not an O. So,
Podrick.
But it's Podrick.
Podrick. The Banshees of Inertia.
This is.
I don't even remember what the word was.
It's on the screen there, Luke.
I'm not looking.
You can cheat.
No.
I really like this movie. This is a kind of a slow burn. People will probably call it like an Oscar season type movie. It's it's not here to make blockbuster money, and I mean, not that they wouldn't want to make blockbuster money, but that's not the expectation. It's not full of action stars. It's a very intimate story about Ireland. I mean, you're right. Like
action star.
He is the Penguin. He is the current day action star.
He was in that remake too that I don't remember what it was that I think is underrated.
Shoot, the Arnold Total Recall?
Yeah. Listen, people crap on that movie and I don't hold it against them, but I actually really like that movie a lot.
The first Total Recall's overrated.
I
agree. Not a good movie.
I didn't realize
it just
this
has star
was
power.
The guy who directed 3 Billboards.
Yeah, so he's done In Bruges, 7 Psychopaths, 3 Billboards, and now The Banshees of Inisherin. And if you've seen any of those,
got a pretty good track record.
You'll probably kind of get his style of filmmaking. It doesn't really change. I think this is maybe a little tighter than something like Three Billboards. But kind of the premise is, if you haven't seen anything about it, is just one guy decides to not be friends with his best friend on this very small island where there's like 100 people, and just doesn't want to talk to him, and ends up threatening him, saying, every time you talk to me, every day you talk to me, I'm going to cut one of my fingers off. And this is a guy who's a musician, he's a violinist, so the stakes get raised pretty quick, and you're like, what is going on? And ultimately, it's kind of a dark comedy. There's a lot of funny moments in it. At the same time, it can be pretty depressing. You're not going to walk out of this movie being like, oh, happy day, that was fun. It's not a fun movie. It's a difficult movie to watch at times. The accents are really thick. I'm saying this as, because I think it's important information, but I'm not saying it to scare anyone away. I very much recommend this movie. I love it. I think it is a great introspective of relationships and what happens when relationships fall apart.
Cut fingers off.
And it gets a little crazy. But that's about all I'll say about it. I give it a fanboy worthy. If you want my full review, I will encourage you to go over to the Movie Moron podcast and listen to our hour and a half conversation about it over there. So,
friends should pull fingers, not cut them.
Yes, agreed.
Another fart joke.
I really,
that's the thing
really enjoyed that. The other thing I did, the other two things I did this week. First off, I played quite a bit of the new season of Apex Legends. It is a lot of fun. Good new map. Good new.
Is the new map smaller than Stormpoint?
It feels smaller.
Good.
And I'm not sure how much smaller it actually is, but because of the electric zip lines, you can move around that map so fast.
Awesome.
The new hero legend Catalyst is great. A little bit more of a defensive character. Abilities include like the ability to like fortify doors and throw up just kind of a giant wall that you can walk through, you can shoot through, but you can't see through. And like if you go through, it slows you down and it blurs your vision and all that. Using nanotech, I think the gameplay moment to moment has been good thus far for me. There's a nice variety of ranged encounters versus close encounters. The buildings have all gotten really good revamps. I think the buildings are more complex than they've ever been, which lead to some really interesting firefights when you get into an area with multiple teams. I will also say that I think there's more third partying here than on Stormpoint. It reminds me a little more of Kings Canyon in terms of third parties.
Yeah, Stormpoint's just so big.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest issue I have with it, is it's so big, it feels like you run the whole match to get in maybe 1-2 gunfights.
Yeah, you're getting...
Unless you're really hunting people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
good.
pretty easy to run into people this map. You have to try to avoid people.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
For sure. The last thing I did was I watched Enola Holmes 2 over on Netflix with Millie Bobby Brown and... 2? Oh, okay. And the one guy, The Witcher, Henry Cavill, or no longer The Witcher, Superman, whatever he's called.
That's right. Liam's Hemsworth is the Witcher. Put some respect on his name.
I think kind of my review of Enola Holmes 2 is going to be, if you like the first one, you'll probably like the second one. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. That's neither good nor bad. I guess my maybe critique on that would be that it doesn't take a lot of chances. It doesn't do anything that's really that interesting. It plays it safe at almost every encounter, but at the same time, I think that Millie Bobby Brown brings good energy to the role. She's quirky and fun. I think there's decent dialogue, and the kind of the chemistry between her and Sherlock is really good. He was in a very little the first one, just he's there, and now he's a major part of this movie. Not so much a supporting lead, but a solid secondary character. So, I would throw this probably at like the Matthew McConaughey level for me.
Awesome.
So,
sure, I'll watch it with Dana.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It was entertaining.
Good.
Not great. Good, not great. But that's about all I did this week. What do you guys do?
I'll just go very quickly. Obviously, we talked about the Peripheral already. I watched The Dragon Prince. I watched episodes 1 and 2. I know you watched, through 4?
Yeah.
And Luke has watched the whole thing.
I watched it all.
Should we go now and talk a little bit about
let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, just, obviously I can't give a full review, but I'll give it my impressions. I think very early, in the first episode, I realized, why I like kind of this show so much, because I really enjoy the assortment of characters we get, outside of a couple. I will say in episode 2, I did pause it and walk away, and didn't come back to it until right before I left to come over here, because I had to finish the 10 minutes I had left. And that's not because I thought it was horrible or anything. It just, there was a lot of focus with some characters I don't really like. And I don't know. I can't say that it's a step down just yet. But I definitely feel like one of the arcs in this season is going to be something I just do not enjoy. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see kind of how it turns out.
Fair. I'm going to talk next just because I think Luke's going to have going from, least watched to most watched.
Yeah.
Sorry, Luke.
Best
You
for
really
last.
want to talk.
Best for last, baby. No, you can go ahead.
No, I was struggling to kind of come up with the words when Luke and I were talking about this before the show, and about halfway through the season, I would just say that I think it's been too long since season 3, and it lost a lot of steam there, and it has not picked it back up. Season 2,
it's a good way to describe it,
was very much kind of a slow burn season, and so I'm not against seasons that don't throw a lot at me and really rush through the plot. At the same time, I think it really does feel like a reset of the show.
Well, I mean, I think it is. Seasons 1 through 3 are this build up to this big event, and then season 4 is okay, how do we pick up these pieces and keep it going?
There's a time jump. It's 2 years later, and we're kind of trying to figure out where are all these characters' relationships now. And I think they do an okay job with a couple of them. Specifically some of the more secondary characters, but actually the mains I've just not cared about. I want to care about Rayla, and I don't. I want to care about Claudia, and
I don't.
I don't. I know you don't.
I don't like Claudia, but yeah.
But mostly it's because I don't feel like they're doing anything that. She's probably doing the most interesting thing at this point, but even then it's such a rehash of we're not really moving the story forward, we're kind of spinning, like we talked about, we're spinning wheels. So midway through I haven't been super impressed, but it does seem like they're building up to a decent conclusion. There's a whatever's maybe in the last act could be cool. So I guess, Luke, maybe you can tell us if that's going to be worth the wait.
To summarize this season, I would just say disappointing. I think the first 3 seasons are all booyahs.
Yeah.
And just to kind of get right to it, I think season 4 is a Matthew McConaughey. It's not bad.
Just a big step down.
It's a major step down.
Yeah.
It's boring. I didn't really think it was as funny as the first 3 seasons. The best character is barely in the show now. She's just a total side character. That's Rayla.
Yeah.
And they do the thing that I hate, which is actually they do it twice. Because Rayla and Callum, they forged this relationship over 3 seasons. You take a 2-year break, and they broke up. And so right at the start, it's okay, and I'm back, and now we have forced drama.
Yeah.
Shows and movies, sequels do it all the time, and it's so annoying. I hate it. I legit hate it. Somebody give me an example where they did it and it worked good. They also do it with Claudia though and her boyfriend. It's off screen, and it's like slight spoilers. I might give like little baby spoilers throughout. I'm not gonna like ruin everything though.
Sure.
They introduced the character Terry, who's a trans character. I think that's great. Why can't we watch their relationship develop instead of just being like, we're together? I feel like that's a good plot point to have, and instead we're just like given development off screen.
Yeah.
Which is infuriating. I think it's cool that Callum knows magic now. That's a lot of fun. He's like actually just doing spells.
Yeah. I think that's a good change.
Yeah. The plot, it's
agreed.
It's just the same thing. It's like we gotta go find this dragon, except now they get rid of the traveling. They just fly there. So they're just like there. It's just going,
I feel like that happens a lot with Claudia and Viren too.
Yeah, they just
in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It's just like we're here. Okay, now we're on the side of this mountain. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's interesting is I felt like in the first 3 seasons, Zadia and the continent really did feel like this character, and there's a little bit of that with one of the side stories and the humans and elves, but the relationship of where everyone is at is completely lost. I can't keep track of where people are at other than we're by the mountain or they called out a forest, but I don't know where that's at. And in the past, I really felt like I had a sense of where people were at.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, the human and elf story. I think it's the best plot point of the season, which is the story with Amaya and Janai. She's the sun elf queen. And their relationship. I think it's very interesting. The problem is it's also been done so many times, the plot that they take, and it's just like, man, I just know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's no surprises. I mean, it's a kid show, so I don't need to be like have my mind blown or anything. But I will say the last 2 episodes I think are pretty good. When they meet the character that they're looking for, who I think was really cool, it's a dragon. He was awesome, and there's some cool action bits. There's a really good fight on top of the mountain, and then in the last 2 episodes, like with the dragon's lair and stuff. But man, I don't feel like I'm going to be looking forward to season 5.
Yeah.
In 3 years, whenever that comes out.
Like, it just killed all the momentum. And I think a big part of that is they took the most interesting character, most interesting story, and gave her nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a problem in the entire show. Every character starts off in one place and ends in the exact same spot in this season.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't need you to make like leaps and bounds total character development. At least get moving in a direction.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like you can watch this season and it's just like, oh, nothing really changed. And that being said too, like it's a kid's show, so I don't know, like.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I think of maybe like for me the most comparative show might be something like Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra, and those have, yes, they may have the relationship drama stuff, but they also have the main character learning very important lessons, very very adult themed lessons about the world, about good and evil, about war and peace. It's not like that's not possible, but even halfway through this season, I don't really have a good grasp on even who the main antagonist. Well, I know who they are. I don't know what they want. I don't know what their motivations are. And that's a problem for me, in that it just kind of feels like we're going on a quest to go on a quest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other best character is Soren. felt like he was the second best character in the first 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a Zuko-ish storyline.
Yeah.
And I feel like he had some really good interactions with Claudia. I would like more of him and more of Rayla, please. Please write something for Rayla instead of like, I'm just in the group.
Yeah. Yeah, her reveal was, man, it was, and I guess maybe awkward was the intent because it's just been awkward since she's been back, which I think was only in episode 3 or 4. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, she just like shows up in 3.
Yeah.
Like in the window, you're just like, oh,
hey, we're gonna have this talk? Not really. I don't want to talk. Okay.
They do that the entire series.
Oh wow. I am still gonna finish it because I'm hoping those last 2 episodes are
the last 2 episodes.
At least a bit of a
the
payoff.
last 2 episodes are good. At least I feel like it ends positively because the last 2 episodes are fun. But man, just disappointing.
Yeah. All right, Tyler. What else do you do this week?
Played some more Call of Duty. Really enjoying that game. I mean, obviously, I wasn't gonna bring this up at all tonight, but it sold $1 billion worth in the first 10 days.
Oh my gosh!
I think it's just a really nice, slower paced Call of Duty, where it's not so movement based. Streamers hate it because they actually have to like play and hold corners and they can't just run and go crazy.
Get good.
But I personally love it. I love that is more of the approach they're taking. It rewards you for playing slower. And I think that's good. And that's not to say it rewards you for camping. It rewards you for playing a little bit more with like a little more thought.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to turn a corner, don't just run around the corner full sprint.
Yeah.
You'll get killed. The time to kill's fast. Like now it's like, okay, if I pop this corner, where do I need to be looking?
Yeah.
And so like changes the kind of the way you approach each gunfight, and I just really like that. Like I've run away from more gunfights in this Call of Duty than any Call of Duty ever.
Remember the good old days Modern Warfare 2 Classic where you had Ghost and Cold Blooded Claymores.
Yeah,
the Barrett 50 in the back.
Dude, you're on high rise up in that corner on the crane. You're like,
you also got scavengers or whatever.
With your plastic gun that goes. Yeah, dude.
Somebody hits your claymore, you just take another claymore.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, I'll put that there and we're good.
Dude, those are the good old days of Call of Duty.
So great.
And without the noob tube. Oh, yeah.
And this feels like a nice return to form, which I feel like we use that a lot when we talk about sequels. But I truly believe this is Call of Duty at its best.
Nice.
And I really like it. The other thing I did, I've been playing more Gotham Knights. Finally got in a little bit more to the Court of Owls stuff within the main story. I've found that I am way further along in the side quests than I have any business being, considering I had to play the main story to unlock the next side quest because I was kind of blowing through everything else. This is a slight spoiler, but I want to say this because I want Luke to know it because I want to talk to you about it, but because I do take some liberties with it. But the Labyrinth is in this game.
Oh, yeah, baby, let's go.
And it's...
Don't drink the water.
The fountain is not.
Oh, what the...
But you are drugged.
Oh, yeah.
Within the labyrinth. And it's... You kind of play this... you kind of play this Groundhog Day situation where, like, if you don't do something right, you just, like, wake up and do it again. You're like, what? It's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying this game. I think there's a patch that kind of stabilized some of the performance issues. Not that they were really bad for me, but just the frame drops aren't nearly as bad as they were when there's a lot of like particle effect. I just think this game's a ton of fun. It's not great, it's not perfect, but I really like spending time with these characters. I really like watching the kind of the chemistry between Alfred and the Knights develop and kind of see how Alfred has always kind of been in charge of things, even if he's not the brute force, but he has always been kind of the one there that keeps the ship going in the right direction. And throughout the game, he kind of steps in when he feels like he needs to, but I just reached a point where he finally is like, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. And it's just so nice. Like, he kind of has this line, and he's like, I was there to stitch to stitch up Bruce and always pick up the pieces. I just hesitated because I didn't want to spoil that Bruce was Batman. That's bad. I'm trying so hard not to spoil things, but he's like,
what?
No.
So like, you know, they kind of do he's like, I was there to stitch up Bruce and pick up the pieces when he failed. And I'm going to be there just like that for you guys. And it's like one of those moments where you're like, yeah, these are kids. And you have to remember, like, they are trying to navigate life without essentially their father figure. It's just this really fun story. Also, really cool thing. I had this question where, like, if Bruce died and Batman disappeared, like, how do people not recognize it? And there's actually, like, a side quest thing where, like, you go around and you find all these little audio recordings, and you have to, like, plant evidence that Bruce was not Batman all over the city, so people don't figure it out. It's a fun little side quest. I like it a lot. But no, that's essentially what I've been doing. I'm really enjoying Gotham Knights. I'm really enjoying Call of Duty. And I am very, very excited for God of War this week.
Yeah, let's go.
Very excited.
That comes out this week. My goodness.
And I've been listening to kind of some spoiler-free reviews, and
you've gotten a nice...
Yeah, just kind of some sources that I like to listen to on game reviews, because I kind of sometimes find myself aligning there.
Yep.
I really like what I'm hearing, and I'm just so excited.
Sweet. Can't wait. I can't wait to hear your guys' review on that.
I'm going to try it so hard to play as much of it as possible.
Or at least impressions next week.
But it's such a big game is what I've gathered.
Yeah.
It's like, if you golden path it, apparently it's about 25 hours.
That's doing that.
Huh? So impressions next week, and
I'm
maybe
definitely
the
not
full review maybe in a couple weeks then.
Yeah, I'm not golden pathing.
I'll tell you this though, I will be playing on easy. Easy gamer.
My man.
I'll be on normal.
Maybe I should start on normal and then play a level, then turn it down because it'll be too hard. Dude, the God of War games are hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't get how people do it on, like, super hard.
Dude, the 2018 one had, like, the permadeath thing where, like, if you die, you start over.
I can't even...
I was like, I'm not doing that.
I can't even think that fast.
Did you fight any of the Valkyries in 2018s?
I think I got 6 of them.
Oh, boy, they were rough.
I
feel like I can handle anything after Elden Ring, but geez, man, those were tough.
I made it to, like, the 7th Valkyrie. I was like, I don't care.
I don't got it in me no more.
I don't have...
The dog had run out in Luke. There is no more dog left in Luke at that point.
It goes back to the thing. I beat the game. The story was over.
Yeah. And
so once that happens, it's like, what else do I do? Like check out at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's hard with single-player, like, linear single-player games is, like, once you beat the story, you're kind of like, I'm done.
Never watching this spoiler podcast.
Oh, no.
Gosh dang it. I spoiled that Bruce was Batman.
Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
Who's Peter Parker?
Yeah, who's Peter Parker?
Get wrecked, Brett.
Stop trying to be meta. Someone 50 years from now is going to be listening to this podcast and not understand that reference.
If I'm alive in 50 years, maybe I will go back and listen to these episodes and be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
We'll be telling our grandchildren about the glory days. We had a podcast.
We streamed on Twitch every Monday night.
What's Twitch, Grandpa?
Go to your room.
It was owned by Amazon.
Luke, what did you do this week? You watched a few things.
I did a couple other things. First thing, just real quick, I'm not going to talk about it a lot. Because honestly, I feel like nobody's watching it.
Well, maybe because of the distribution.
Andor on Disney Plus?
No, not that.
No, Andor on Disney Plus. It is the best Disney Star Wars thing they've made. It's awesome. I really encourage you to go watch it. Apparently it has pretty low numbers, which is sad because it's awesome. And also lots of articles this week are coming out about how Tony Gilroy saved Rogue One, and it's just like, yeah. Andor is fantastic. Watch it, please. Yeah. The other thing I did, yes, because of distribution, a lot of people are probably not going to watch this, which is a shame because it's awesome. I watched the Weird Al movie.
Yes.
It's called Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and it is on the Roku channel, is where you watch it, which is free.
Cool.
This movie is free to watch for everybody.
Awesome.
So we just need to download the Roku app.
Yeah.
On our smart TV or...
Yeah, I just downloaded it on my TV. Um, you if you have a Roku, obviously you can just use your Roku. I guess you could do it on your computer, but you probably have to plug your computer into your TV.
I wonder if they have the app.
Well, if you have the Roku app, you can only stream it to a Roku. You can't like do it to a Chromecast or Amazon. I think there's a Amazon app though. If you have a Fire Stick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a Fire Stick. You can get it on the Fire Stick.
Phone app, you have to have a Roku stick. Though you might as well just use the Roku stick.
Yeah.
Anyway, Weird Al. This movie's awesome. It is hilarious. I really want people to watch it. It's the funniest movie I've seen this year.
Yeah.
That also being said, I have not seen a lot of funny movies this year. I think the funniest movie I had seen was Vengeance, which was pretty dark comedy.
That was dark comedy.
And this is like the complete opposite. It's a parody movie. It's goofy. It's silly. It's ridiculous. If you know Weird Al music, you know a lot of his songs were parodies of famous songs.
Yep.
That's what the movie is. It takes the bones of the music biopic.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And it puts in Weird Al and polka music and accordion playing. And it's like polka music is like, it's like considered like rock and roll. It's like, oh, you listen to polka music, it's for the devil, and like all this stuff. It might have hit so hard because I watched Elvis like a month ago.
Oh, sure.
They like correlated so much. and like with Rocket Man 2, which came out last year or 2 years ago, I don't really remember. It's like the parents are just so unsupportive and they're like, you know, you shouldn't be doing this music stuff. It's not going to get you anywhere. But like in this movie, they're just like, son, you should just quit life and give up on your dreams. It's so funny. Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al is awesome. He's fantastic. I loved the members in his band. I thought they were great. There's a lot of pretty big actors in the movie too. Evan Rachel Wood plays like an evil Madonna. Rainn Wilson plays his manager. It's a great cast. They're all fantastic. The music is still sung by Weird Al too.
Oh.
So the music's great. And I love this story too. The story is like, I mean, he becomes Weird Al, but he doesn't want to be known for parodies. He wants to make real music. And I'll just say this movie goes where you don't expect it to go. If you see like the confrontation in the third act, then you predicted something way out there, and props to you. Please go watch it. It's gotten really good reviews too. I really think you'll like it. I give it a booyah.
Dang.
I give it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd.
I did see that. I like what you're doing on Letterboxd with your Instagram. Big fan of that. Keep it up.
Yeah, you can do that straight from the site.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool.
All I do is go boop.
That's fantastic.
Great, yeah.
Maybe I should
Big fan
utilize
of that.
Letterboxd a little more.
Letterboxd is great. Yeah.
You can do that from the app, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hit the 3 dots and you say share to Instagram story, and it just does it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, Weird Al, it's a booyah. Fantastic. I was talking a lot with my uncle this week at church because he's a huge Weird Al fan. He went to their concert. He's actually telling me too at the concert he only did his original music, which I thought was really cool.
Oh.
Also, Weird Al, great music. Big fan of The Greatest Ball of Twine. That was great. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I watched It's Quiet Over Here in Germany.
Yeah, we can talk about that real quick before we get into trailers and news. Luke and I both watched All Quiet on the Western Front.
And I started it.
Tyler started it. How far did you get?
Not far.
Okay.
to the
not because I had to turn it off, like not because I didn't want to keep watching it, but because it was.
You've been very busy.
Yeah.
For sure. So Luke.
Last week when I was like, I wasn't in the mood to watch this.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I didn't watch it when I was not in the mood. Because good lord, this movie's so depressing. God dang it.
I was sad within the first 15 minutes. Like, very sad.
Dude, the opening scene of this movie is so awesome.
It's so good.
And it just doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, epicness. Yeah, I guess that does get toned down in some scenes, but just, like, of the visual style. This movie's so pretty.
Yeah.
That was my first takeaway. Like, right away, I was like, oh, man, this is gorgeous.
For, not a probably household name director, cinematographer, duo, we've got a movie that is gorgeous and eerie and horrifying all at the same time.
Yeah. What kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of like the old school epic.
Mm-hmm.
Like nowadays we get giant blockbuster superhero films, and they're pretty epic. They're really cool. They're really big. But like this was a giant burnt field set production. Tons of people around. It just felt bigger and it felt real.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think either of you have watched the original movie. This is a remake that's based on a book. The book itself is not necessarily an anti-war movie. I'm not necessarily convinced that the movies themselves are anti-war in their messaging. I think they try to be authentic to what war is like.
Just show you what it was.
And yeah, kind of my tweet. I finished this at like 1:00 at night. I was like, I can't not say something. So I put out a tweet in the middle of the night because I just needed to. I said that All Quiet on the Western Front is a tough film in the best way. You feel every minute of it because it is long. It's 2.5 hours and it's not fast paced. It has got the long, slow takes and they make you feel it. It's a movie that's not here to entertain you. It's here to remind you what war is and who suffers in war. It's a worthy retelling of a classic that should not be forgotten. You will walk away from this probably feeling pretty crappy.
I kind of just, like, the credits ended.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just sat there for like 15 minutes, I think, just staring at the Netflix suggestions, just like, I don't really know what to do now. I watched this on a Sunday afternoon. Like, I could have just turned on football.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs game had started. Or was about to start. And I was just like...
Wow, you went through an array of emotions.
Sunday was a bad day, but it was a good day.
It was like a good bad day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was all over the place.
Oof. I can imagine. I watched like the first 15, 20 minutes of it, and I was like, man, this is going to be rough.
Yeah, one of the things I think that really helps this movie, with I say helps. I don't necessarily mean helps. I think it does a good job. It's maybe underappreciated in shot composition for those long takes, because there are some times when it's just like we're gonna do like a slow pan back.
The one take has been abused.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, it's a big movie. Where's our oneer gonna be?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
But like in this, it was a lot like 1917. Like you can't really help not think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're both World War I movies. Yep. Long takes. One is a very long take. Two very long takes. And you just like, you're sitting behind these characters. It's like hell is breaking loose. You're just like hoping that goes to the next scene because people might be okay.
Yeah.
But no, like they just like keep moving forward. Just like, oh my gosh.
Was there? I'm trying to, without spoiling anything. I don't know how much of this movie you can spoil, other than maybe like who survives and how long they survive. But was there like a any particular moment that really like for me it was when like the tanks came, and that was like this.
That was hard.
Oh my god!
It was brutal.
Yeah.
In my Letterboxd review, I said bleak, brutal, and heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like I said more after that, but like. Know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Return of the King when the Oliphants with the tussle up, they're chanting, like they turn around and you just see these beasts coming towards you and you're just like, oh my god, they're all freaking dead.
Yep.
Like there's no way.
Yep. And
unfortunately, it's where I have one complaint in the entire movie, and it's a nitpick. CGI fire.
Oh, yeah.
It happens for 1 or 2 seconds, but unfortunately, it was very noticeable.
Yeah.
But other than that, beautiful.
So, it's been a week and a half since I watched this, and I'm trying to remember exactly where it falls. Like, I feel like it's right after the tanks.
Yeah.
It's in the mud hole with the French soldier. Man, that broke me.
Yeah.
That broke me way more than I kind of saw it coming, and I was still like, oh my gosh.
It was so
it's
long, too.
But it's so well acted between both of them.
I thought it was the best acting in the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any dialogue there except for just like quiet, maybe.
Mm-hmm. How did you guys watch it?
I watched in German.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I was watching it too.
Yep, they do have an English sub, or
it defaults to that.
Yeah,
which is really
not mine.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's nice. Something with our settings.
I think it knows that I prefer live action subs over live action dubs.
That's awesome.
I really
mine set automatically.
I really appreciated watching this in German with the subtitles.
So. I think there's something to be said about that too. You follow the Germans in this movie?
Yeah.
Historically, the bad guys.
Yeah.
And you're following them along and you just feel everything for them.
Yep.
And I think a lot of times we forget that those were just kids out there.
Yeah.
They show the people in the clean rooms getting all the food, and it's just like, I don't like you. You piece of crap.
Yeah. They do a really good job leading up to the climax of this, making you have hope that it's gonna.
They got me.
They got me. Okay.
They got me up until credits are rolling. I was like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. There's nothing okay. The other scene that I was really nervous in was the second farm heist.
Yeah, they do a great job, setting that up, with the first farm heist and the second farm heist, and knowing
nervous,
knowing that like it can't work out twice, right? And then like that, how they play with that tension the whole way through it, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie has trained you by then to just expect the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So, man,
they got me every time.
Good movie. Good movie.
It's really, really good.
What's your rating / recommendation?
I give it a booyah.
Yeah.
I think it's a movie that's so well made that it deserves your attention. It's a hard watch though.
Yeah.
It's a war movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are generally not easy watches.
They don't hold back in what they show either. There's a lot of really tough deaths to watch in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a good reminder. It's like this was literally like one of the worst periods in history.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of kids out there in the mud for years.
Yep.
It's awful.
Yeah, and I think it's obviously there's always conflict happening, right? Like we can sit here and be like, oh, and like how we relate to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But like in reality, this is a message that always needs to be telling because there's always conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, while that might be on our minds because of just international events, at the same time, like you think of like child soldiers in Africa or all the crap that happens in the Middle East and China and Taiwan and what that might end up being like. And I think this is good for the average citizen, the average person to watch, because this is what you're sending. Even if you've signed up to be in the army, like this is what you're sending those people into. It's a little different. Modern day warfare is different. At the same time, that sense of brotherhood, losing the people who you love,
your little like best friends,
your family, and typically fighting over scraps of land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think too. I feel like this is the first movie, at least that I've seen, that actually shows like what World War I was like. Like 1917. We followed the two guys.
Yeah, that was like
I can't even think of another World War I movie.
It was like a pocket story.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. But no, like this was, we're sitting in the mud for a long time. Hear a whistle blow. Run across the flat plain.
Yeah.
And pretty much...
hope you don't get shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just hope for the best, and it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
As evidenced very early on.
Dude, the transition from the boys being excited to sign up, one of them even being like, I'm too young to sign up, but they do that thing that even Captain America does, right? Like, you wouldn't ever be passed, but I'm gonna cheat my way in because I want to serve my country. And then there's that pride that goes with that, and almost joy is maybe not the right word, but there's an excitement about it. Like war is exciting, and yeah.
I mean the difference,
the tone shift is immediate, and it hits hard.
Yeah, and then like you have them getting their gear in the first 20 minutes, getting ready to be shipped out pretty much immediately, no training. And they're like, yeah, we're going to be heroes for Germany. And then you get to the end and it's just like, I'm a pair of boots with a rifle.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm meaningless out here.
This movie does so many small things well too. The suit up or the getting their gear where it's getting someone else's jacket that's been sewn up.
Yeah, that's the opening of the movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Because you just see how well oiled a machine the industrial war complex is, and how it's twisted to get recruitment. Man.
I'd say the last thing I just loved about the movie was how the story just goes in a complete circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just leave it at that. Try and not just spoil too much, but
yeah, I'll definitely be watching this one. I mean, like I said, I started,
it.
Yeah, just didn't have time to finish it. So.
You're a busy boy. So I think walking away from it, I probably would have given this like a high fanboy worthy. But I think talking about it with having someone else having seen it and talking about it, I feel comfortable giving this a booyah as well.
It's good. 5 stars on Letterboxd, baby.
Yeah, good, a good tough movie to watch. So, okay, that was it?
Yeah, I'm a little sad now though.
Yeah, we should talk about some happy things like trailers. Surely there were some fun trailers that we watched this week.
Well, he's looking at me for that.
I'm looking at either of you.
Oh, there was an Avatar 2 trailer.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Look at this point.
I did need the trailer. I'm so hyped for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the trailers, I was like, thank you for this, but I didn't need it. I'll take it.
This is, and I have a feeling when I watch the movie, this is going to double down. I'm going to double down on this, and that is, if it actually takes like 5 years to make a movie with this good of CGI, do it, and don't turn out something every 2 years that has the CGI of the current Marvel slate. That's my hot take.
Man, if
I
only
don't know
that
how
was
hot
like
that is on this show, but
fair enough.
if only that was the business mindset, right? Like let's not make the thing that'll make the most money. Let's get the thing out that will get out quickest, cheapest, and make the most money.
Well, and I think Cameron has a good grip on how to do this, though, shooting them back to back to back to back.
And kind of, I guess we could move this into a news story I remember seeing. He said he was prepared to have things wrapped up in Avatar 3 if they're not successful.
Oh, that's good. That's nice.
That's good.
That is good.
So at least it's James, our good friend James, isn't just like, no, this is doing 5 movies.
Yeah.
You have to see it. Like he understands, like, it's 10 years later. It might not be the absolute hit it was when the first one came out.
Well, I mean, if it isn't, he'll just find a way to tear down everybody else in the industry to make them feel bad too. So
only if they deserve it.
We also, this was a big thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
We also got a new Glass Onion trailer today.
I haven't watched this yet.
Thumbs up for me. I mean, I didn't need it.
What was it?
Like
I was reading chat. Sorry.
Glass Onion.
Oh yeah, I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine.
I know I'm gonna watch this, so
I already have tickets. Let's go.
I'm just gonna watch it on Netflix.
I'm gonna see it in theaters.
Didn't you buy tickets like during the day for this one?
Yeah,
no,
when it came out, when
he bought it like
because
it's like the day before Thanksgiving or something.
That's right. And he texted us. He's like, "You guys want to go see this?" And we were like, "Dude, we're gonna be at work."
And then for Black Panther, he's like, "You want to see this?" We're like, "Oh, you got work."
Yeah. Like, yeah, you guys off Veterans Day? No. Oh, I'm gonna go see Black Panther then. It's like, okay. It's like, I guess we're not seeing it with you.
Yeah,
At least I invited you.
After this.
Yeah, thank you for thinking of us.
You tried.
What other trailers do we have?
That was the only one I had.
I feel like I had seen something else, but I didn't write it down. So there's probably more trailers out there, but we're already at an hour. So
there was that Ryan Reynolds Christmas movie that looks like absolute trash.
There's a Ryan Reynolds Christmas movie?
It's like
Spirited.
It's like a redo version of A Christmas Carol, but it's Ryan Reynolds playing himself again. Oh my gosh.
I'm out. Pass. Hard pass.
But he took tap dancing lessons.
Zootopia Plus.
Oh, yeah.
We just watched that trailer.
Oh,
or
yeah.
you guys watched it before.
I looked at it while I was watching it. Yeah. I like the animation.
I'll watch it because Clara won't watch it.
I was going to say, I'll watch it because Brim will watch it.
Dude, I love Zootopia the movie, but I'm not gonna watch this.
Yeah, I didn't realize this was like an anthology thing, which is kind of weird. Did they say that? Did I miss that? I may have missed that.
I wasn't paying attention.
Talk about like when they
when do we ever pay attention about anything?
Well, they probably announced it along with like 40 other Disney Pixar spin-off shows that they're doing.
Probably.
Like, here's Cars, the prequel.
Have any of them been good?
I can't even name one. Baymax was one. Okay, there's one.
Dana tried to watch the Monsters Inc. one, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not watching that. It sucks."
Boo, the prequel.
Oh, over in the chat,
this
is
that
related to trailers. Easton is asking, have you all talked about the Last of Us trailer and the release date? I think we mentioned it last week, but we can hit it here again real quick since you're here with us in the chat.
Thumbs up.
Big thumbs up for this trailer.
And release date.
Pedro Pascal looks amazing. And
who was it that said to Pedro, like, "Don't F this up"? Who was it? That was in the news this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought that was Jeff Bezos' son.
How about Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
That also happened, but no, some actor like reached out to Pedro Pascal and was like, "Don't F this up."
Was it Troy Baker?
That's funny.
Maybe.
Troy Baker's at the show. He could have just been told him on set.
But yeah, and then it's coming out in January, mid-January, right? Like the 15th or something.
January 15th, yeah.
So
Ben Mendelsohn warned Pedro Pascal not to F up HBO's The Last of Us.
Mendo.
Mendo was
goodness.
like, you better not screw that up. I guess he's a big fan
Mendo's
of
The Last of Us
That's
fan?
funny.
Let's
I
go.
love it.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, I think from what we've seen between Pedro and Bella Ramsey,
Looks awesome.
I am excited for those two to just shine.
I'm so excited and I'm so nervous.
Yeah, as someone who is has not played the games, I'm just excited. I'm only excited. I'm not nervous.
He hasn't played them either.
I've played it, but I've not beat it.
Oh, okay. I know Easton, I was chatting with him earlier this week, is very excited and also very nervous. I think he's very much in your camp, Luke.
Yeah. It's one of the best games ever. I think it's the best written game ever.
Yeah.
It's... Listen, it's gonna just, I'm gonna start it. It's gonna rip out my heart immediately. And it's never gonna stop doing that, like the entire show. So
Boy, I am not ready.
I'm not gonna drink any water all day, so that way I have no tears to shed.
Yeah,
Is that how that works?
I am not emotionally ready for the opening of this show. I just know that.
Dude, I restarted the remaster, the remake, whatever they call it.
Like when you played it recently?
And I'm like, I'll be all right this time. I cried immediately.
Dude, it's rough. Rough.
It's not fair. I'm such an easy get, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've said this before. I'll cry in a movie I don't like. You can emotionally manipulate me by having a character cry on screen and have good music. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. I'm a softie.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being a softie.
Having a kid will do that too.
Yeah.
You mentioned that on the Movie Moron show.
Yep.
I'm with you. I feel that. I'm that way too.
Indeed. All right, let's move over to some news. We already mentioned one little thing about...
Watch party for this shoe.
Oh. A watch party. That
No.
could be fun.
No.
Oh.
I'm watching it by myself. You guys can. I couldn't sit in my room by myself. I'm going to hug a pillow and I'm going to cry it out.
Luke's going to just rock back and forth on his bed, just like, I can't handle it.
It's the advantage of living by yourself. I can cry as hard as I want to.
This is an excellent point.
I'm buying a body pillow. Screw it.
I'm happy to host a watch party for at least a couple episodes.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Maybe
we'll see. We'll see if we can make that work. News. What do we got?
Well, we just talked about one video game show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about another one.
So excited for this.
So something... I tweeted about this. So Netflix announced today on the 16th anniversary of Gears of War that they are making a live-action movie and an adult animated series.
Adult?
And so there's... Obviously, this is a two-part story, right? For the live-action movie, I am very cautiously optimistic. Gears of War is a huge undertaking. And Netflix trying to do this with their financial crisis that they're in is scary to me. I think this screams CGI Locust. And we just saw Prime do practical orcs, even 20 years later, they looked great.
Yeah.
The locusts need to be practical for this to look and feel good to watch.
Gears of War.
You looking up locusts?
Locusts.
Yeah.
How do you spell locust?
Just like that. I think it's very doable. I think this is a bold idea. And I'm very curious to see who they cast as Marcus Phoenix and Delta Squad. I think that's a huge thing. Cliffy
Pedro
B,
Pascal.
No.
Emily Blunt.
Yes.
I'm going to say...
Nah, man.
She could be in it. I'm going to say this. JT, Cliffy B tweeted to keep Chris Pratt away from the show.
Yeah.
I agree with that take, but I'm also going to say this. Cliffy B can eat a bag of dicks. So, screw that guy. He annoys me.
You'd fight him.
No. He's annoying. He's just very arrogant, and
I hope they cast Chris Pratt just to piss everybody off.
they could cast him as Carmine
Falcone?
Oh, that would be a great cast.
That would actually work really well.
That would work really well.
Especially because he would take a freaking bullet to the dome, like within the first 15 minutes. It'd be hilarious. Obviously, the elephant in the room will be Dave Bautista. I don't know if he's tweeted about this yet, but I'm sure he will at some point. And I think he would be a good choice for Marcus Phoenix. I think he's somebody who really cares. Okay.
If you could
save that for the Fanbox. But there's one answer would be Dave Bautista for Marcus Phoenix. I'll answer the other one when we get to the end.
Where do you put Joe or John DiMaggio? Don't remember his first name. I'm sorry, because I know you're a big fan. Where do you put him in the live action version?
Hoffman.
Man, I wish I knew who that was.
Colonel Hoffman. He's just the guy who yells at Delta Squad all the time.
Oh.
Here, I'll show you. But sorry, let me finish this first. So on the other side of this is the adult animated series, and I am very, very excited for this. Netflix was kind of canceling a lot of animated stuff. I think video game if you're gonna move it into another medium, animation is the best option in most cases, and I think this animated show will be really cool. I think they can do a lot more with it. I do hope they dive into a little more of like the Gabe Diaz time frame, which is kind of what Gears Tactics is based on. I think that'd be really fun. Or if they want to do the Pendulum Wars, that'd be awesome. I'm speaking a different language to you guys, and I apologize.
It's fine.
I just love this franchise, and I just really want it to be done well. I really, really wanted this to be a Prime or HBO show. So when Netflix got it, I was like, gosh dang it. And they're making it a movie, which video games is long-form storytelling. To be condensed into a movie just always is kind of dicey. So we shall see. Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Emphasis on cautiously.
And Netflix is like all over the place with their video game properties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That being said, their animated stuff,
pretty good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Arcane and Cyberpunk are awesome.
And I've heard the Tekken show is not bad.
I didn't even know that was the thing. And we're not big fans of The Witcher.
No.
Is that their only live action video game property?
I'm aware of off the top of my head, yes.
Which we are not fans of.
Yeah, that's true.
Who are you casting Jason Momoa as? JT, sorry, I asked that question like I'm angry about it. I'm just curious who you have him playing. All right, carrying on.
And a white guy.
Yes.
Get the dude from She's Out of Your League. What's his name? Voice take up. Be hilarious because he does not fit the Gears of War build whatsoever.
Yeah.
Jay Baruchel.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
that would actually be hilarious.
Jason Momoa is the Locust Queen. This is what Game Lord Master said.
That's my Emily Blunt casting.
Listen, if they cast Emily Blunt, I'm in.
Would be awesome. Some other video game news. It was there was a bit of a Call of Duty leak. That Call of Duty will be getting a quote unquote full premium release in 2023. It's not gonna be a new standalone game, so it's kind of expected to be a probably a Modern Warfare 2 expansion. But sounds like it will be
on PlayStation only.
Like a full price DLC is what it sounds like. So obviously that bodes well for the series, as Tyler mentioned earlier. Modern Warfare 2 selling incredibly well. So
Made
I think
$1 billion.
This is maybe a good opportunity for them to figure out what the new revenue stream for Call of Duty is going to be if they're not doing annual installments.
Yeah, the focus is to expand on their live services with this expansion.
Yeah.
And that's Schreier. They're now revealing that, and if Schreier is talking about it, I trust it.
Yeah.
That dude is so plugged in; it's unbelievable. So I think this is interesting. I'm curious to see what this kind of what shape this takes. Sledgehammer, I guess, is the one doing this. not Infinity Ward. So Infinity Ward will be working on their support for the game for this year, and Sledgehammer will be working on the additional content they'll be adding in. So cool. Very curious.
Yeah.
And speaking of Call of Duty, while we're on the topic, this may have been a little past due, but Phil Spencer has said that Call of Duty will stay on PlayStation for as long as they have a platform to release it on, which is a very ominous thing to say.
Xbox is buying PlayStation.
Dude, that was the first thing that crossed my mind when he said that. I was like, is this fool going to try to take over?
It won't happen, but...
No, it won't. But it was just funny the way he said it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But no, cool. I think that was what everybody knew. There's too much money in Call of Duty to remove it from any platforms it's already on.
Yep, for sure.
I have a ton of video game news.
Keep going.
Hit me with
it. It is in 7 day, boys.
That's right.
It's in 7 day, and BioWare teased the next Mass Effect game with a little video of what looked like a mass relay. So that's cool.
For the next game or the show?
The next game.
Because they're doing a show, aren't they?
I believe Amazon got it.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Cast Emily Blunt
both of
as
these
Captain
things, the
Shepard.
game and the show.
Dude, Amazon has some really good video game properties under their belt right now.
They have Horizon, though, don't they?
No, Netflix has Horizon.
Oh, frick! Gosh darn it.
Prime has God of War.
No!
Yeah, Prime has God of War.
Hey, wait. Is it a Netflix show or a movie for Horizon?
Show.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
a little more faith.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a show. I believe it's being... I'm not going to say that.
I'm going straight back to the Gears of War thing because I didn't really input much. I have, zero faith in that movie. I think it's going to be garbage. I think Netflix can only make indie films that are good. Or foreign films.
Oh, that's right. The dude who does the Umbrella Academy is doing Horizon on Netflix.
Emily Blunt as Aloy?
No.
No, she's too old. Sorry, Emily.
They should just cast the voice actor.
The
Or the chick from...
Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Rose Leslie.
Yeah, her. Yep. More video game news. Final Fantasy 16 will have 6 months of PS or PlayStation exclusivity. That time window is a little bit shorter than it has been in the past, so that's interesting. But exciting nonetheless. That wraps up my video game news.
Yeah, nice.
Otherwise, I have some movie stuff.
I will say the one other thing that I thought was revealing. You mentioned Phil Spencer talking about Call of Duty on PlayStation. Phil also addressed the lack of first-party games.
Yeah,
And that, yes, he understands that it has been too long. It's been too long when Brett, who is an avid Xbox fan, for the first time in 12 years, just was like, I don't even know if I need Xbox Live right now. I can get by on free-to-play games because there's really, do I need access to the Halo Infinite campaign? No, I don't. The answer is no.
To play with me.
Hey, network co-op tomorrow.
Wait, really?
Winter update's tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, winter update is tomorrow. But
watch, it's gonna get delayed.
But I think
It's gonna be like awesome.
I think
I got to talk about delays in a minute.
Classic.
He needed to address it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So hopefully here 2023 we're gonna start seeing some.
Phil's really good at getting in front of stuff like this.
He's a really good communicator overall, but yeah.
He is.
I'll say if you have Game Pass right now, the A Plague Tale games are both on there. They're really good. I'm enjoying that second one.
And you talking about Phil reminds me, there were some updates to they were loose updates to kind of the next couple releases in the first party world of Xbox.
Yeah.
This isn't on my news. There was clarification on what would come first, Redfall or Starfield. And Redfall is coming first. Redfall is rumored to be much further along in its development, and there is rumors swirling that Starfield will catch another delay and be a holiday 2023 release.
I'm sad.
I am very sad by that news as well.
I'm always sad when a game gets delayed, but I'm also it's cool.
I'm fine with it. And in the world of delays, I believe it was was it Rockstar that was saying I'd rather delay my games over and over and over again than have them flop financially because they released in a broken state. So like,
but then release an animated show and it gets a resurgence.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Classic CD Projekt Red move, man.
Yeah. So no, it's
they're playing the long game.
I think what we're seeing is this change in the approach to game development, and that taking your time to make something that's not a buggy mess at release is very important.
Yeah.
So, no, but yeah, Phil Spencer, he went on that podcast, and I can't remember which podcast it was, but he talked a lot about kind of just their first party lineup, and
yeah,
I think 2023 is going to have some juice. So
yep,
I'm looking forward to it.
I thought this was a humorous news story. The Dungeons and Dragons movie got delayed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Scheduling nightmares. D&D, in real life, as also apparently in the world of the movies.
They're just trying to get their schedules lined up so they can finish out the campaign. So you're trying
to finish strong.
But people are busy and it just doesn't work out. You gotta wait.
Yeah, we're experiencing that currently.
It happens.
I'm free.
No one's mad at anyone. We're just sad we're not playing as much as we should be.
Yeah, that was funny though.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
What I found not so funny was when the Russo brothers started talking about their live-action Hercules movie and how it will be a modern musical inspired by TikTok.
This was single-handedly the dumbest, worst news story I've seen this year.
Here's what I love about it, though. I want them to make this because I want it to flop hard. I need it to be destroyed so that the whole let's remake all of our animated...
Except for Treasure Planet.
Okay, yes. We want Treasure Planet. Why has that one not been announced? Gosh dang it.
Because nobody watched it, so nobody will watch the remake. Everybody will be like, what is this?
You think we could pay Disney like $10 for the rights to that? No. They won't sell us anything. They'll put it in the vault. It's too valuable.
They'll put it in the vault and then re-release it on Blu-ray. Like they used to do with all the Disney princesses.
Classic Disney. I have zero interest in a live-action Hercules that is a modern musical inspired by TikTok. That just sounds like the worst thing.
My only interest in this movie comes from the fact that Guy Ritchie's directing it, and I liked the Aladdin movie. I did. I'll say it. That being said, I don't want this. It sounds horrible.
I don't want this. Give us Treasure Planet. Oh man, just wait till the rights go up for the Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Oh my god.
That look, we can talk about that. The team behind the Winnie the Pooh horror movie want to make a Peter Pan.
That movie's gonna make $100 million.
Oh, yeah. We have got to get on the front end of this and make our own $15 movie,
like horror of some other thing.
Yeah, what is another something that's in the public domain that we can make a horror
Steamboat
movie?
Willie.
Is that now? Mm-hmm. Chat.
Batman goes up in like 8 years.
Chat. Let us know what we what public domain story we should make into a horror movie. Over here with the fanboy. So
let's just look up public domain. Characters 2022.
Did you guys have any more movie news specifically?
Movie studio news.
Oh, okay.
James Gunn has been dishing a little bit on his DC role and talking about how busy he is.
Popeye in 2024.
There we go, baby. He did come out and say he gave kind of a high level overview, 30,000 foot view. I gotta sneeze.
You okay?
Sorry.
Bro, you fine?
That was like, I didn't even get to sneeze. That was really lame. And kind of just gave like a 30,000 foot view on what their plan is. And I'll read the quote here. He says, "Our initial focus is on the story going forward, hammering out the new DCU and telling the biggest story ever told across multiple films, television shows, and animated projects. We invite all of the DC fandoms from across the multiverse and everyone else as well into this new universe. We can't wait to reveal more." And this was kind of in response to people asking about the Air Cut and some other things. Saving Legends of Tomorrow was one of the other things. And, he was just kind of like giving the answer of like, hey, we hear you, but we have a plan and this is what we're going to do. And if those things are a part of it, we'll get there. If they're not, we're just gonna keep on moving. We have plans, and we're gonna chase this thing down. So I really like that he wasn't just like, super accepting and saying, yeah, we're gonna do it. And he also wasn't like, we're just gonna shoot this down.
Yeah.
Because he obviously brought some of David Ayer's ideas to his movie, like character-wise.
Yeah.
And so obviously that will be kind of part of it moving forward, but I don't think they're releasing the Ayer cut. That's not going to happen. I think the Snyder cut was a disaster, and I don't think they'll ever do that again. So, but no.
How dare you call that a disaster?
It was a disaster. It's the same movie, just with more cameos.
It's less saturated, Tyler.
And singing.
And more slow-mo.
Woo.
And Martian Manhunter's in it.
It was supposed to be
Green
Lantern.
Okay. Luke, did you have any other movie news?
I've just got, it's movie and TV. I'm just going to put all these things into one, which is just Marvel casting.
Okay, so we have some Marvel casting news.
Aubrey Plaza was cast in Agatha Witch Hunters, whatever it's called, or something.
Coven of something, right? Coven of
I don't remember. I don't care about that show. I do like Aubrey Plaza, though. I think she's funny. Bob Odenkirk was cast in Wonder Man. And Daniel Kaluuya was cast as Spider-Punk in Across the Spider-Verse.
So down for this. Can't wait.
I think that's awesome casting. I'll always take more Kaluuya.
Me too.
But yeah. I like all three of those actors. So I approve of each. Even though I'm not excited for the Agatha, whatever it is. Two more stories I have, and I'm going to combine these two.
Ooh.
Shows went up by one and down by one, so we're still at the same.
Okay.
HBO canceled Westworld.
Yeah.
It's ending with season 4. But we have good news too, and that is Netflix renewed The Sandman for season 2.
Yes.
I was really nervous this wasn't going to happen.
Same.
But thankfully they finally freaking approved it. Because that show was awesome. But yeah, Sandman, Westworld, thoughts?
I'm a little bummed by Westworld. I wish it sounded like they had one more season. They had an idea for a season 5 that would kind of wrap everything up.
Maybe they'll wrap it up with a movie.
Maybe. That said, I do think this will allow that creative team to go on and do maybe some more unique things elsewhere. We're seeing the Peripheral. We talked about Fallout. So it's not like, this is a complete and utter loss. I haven't seen the newest season. Audience drop off for 3 was pretty high, and then for season 4 apparently has been pretty high as well. I really enjoyed season 3, and I'm looking forward to getting into 4 when I can. Sandman season 2 I am hyped for, though.
Did you ever watch the bonus episodes they released?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought they were fine. I mean, I didn't think they added that much, and I'm glad that they were a bonus and
it was
not
like
just
a cool little
stuck in the middle.
Cool little story. If you enjoyed the show, here you go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely excited for season 2 of Sandman and what all that can entail. My last TV news is that Netflix launched its ad version, its ad tier.
They added ads.
They added ads. You can pay less than $15 to watch with ads, but I'm trying to find the list here.
You can't watch any of the good stuff.
There is a ton of stuff that you can't watch.
Hey, listen here. The Crown was on that list, so it's not worth it. Dude, The Crown comes out this week too. Freaking A. Oh my gosh.
So we have
I'm going to be so busy.
The Crown, Cobra Kai, Arrested Development, Breaking Bad, The Good Place, Grey's Anatomy, House of Cards, How to Get Away with Murder, New Girl, Peaky Blinders, and I'm sure the list is more than that, but just like those are some of their highest rated things, show-wise, and I don't know why. There must be some licensing thing with maybe some of those that aren't, a lot of those aren't Netflix originals. But that's about the only thing I can think of, and that's a bummer. I think if you, I dislike when a service, like I feel like the cost of doing the ad version is that you have ads, not that you have less content. So I guess it's just weird that they're, cutting them off at the knee.
Netflix is a little slow. I think they'll catch on.
Maybe.
I remember this was a prediction I had.
Oh, did you?
What? It was my first time we did predictions.
Okay.
So they're 2 years late.
Yeah.
So in 2 more years, they'll be like, oh, we can just do ads.
Yeah.
And we get money. But, they're just a little slow.
Just a little slow.
HBO Max did something similar, but it wasn't. It was
their
day one, day release.
It was their day and date stuff, which I think that makes more sense.
It does make sense
to not have that included.
And it's also HBO Max. I guess I don't really know what their ad situation was like. Really, I've always had the full HBO.
I know it's always felt like it's been worth it to just have the full subscription to that. So.
And I'll still keep the Netflix one because I'm watching The freaking Crown. That show is
priorities. Priorities.
That show's so good.
I'm
so excited.
Sorry.
Did you guys have any other?
I was kind of tuned out here, but I'm with you. I think that's just dumb to block all your good stuff.
Fair enough. Did you guys have any other stories before we move into Fanbox?
No, but I want to address that the Snyder Cut was much better. I think it was better. But it's not hard to be better than whatever that 2017 movie was.
Yeah, I think the point that we were making there
it's a disaster because of what it spurned.
Sure, it's not a disaster in that it was like it in of itself was a horrible film or was worse than what the Justice League was. It's bad because of what it, I don't know, enabled in the online community.
It was a slippery slope.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm glad that it exists at the end of the day, but I don't want that to be a trend necessarily.
I'm just tired of hearing about it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, we have a couple Fanbox questions. Our first question is from Patrick. He emailed us.
Mahomes?
No. Patrick emailed us at whatthefanboy@gmail.com. He asks, when do you think Star Wars Episode 10 should take place, and when will it be released? So, how far in the future from The Rise of Skywalker does Episode 10 need to be, and then, when are we actually going to see it?
Episode 10 should be... Listen, I'll give some grace years.
Okay.
I'm going to say, 200 to 300 years later.
Uh-huh.
However, the next animated show should be 5 to 7 years after Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Okay. And when do you want to see Episode 10 in theaters?
2030.
So some time needs to pass.
Yes, and not for the reason it's because Star Wars fans are the worst. That's why we're in timeout.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
You were mean. You're in timeout. You
Star
get the
Wars
Disney
fans deserve a little bit of a timeout, don't
you
we?
get Disney Plus and spin-offs until 2030, and then we're gonna try it out again. And if you can't contain yourself, back in the corner.
Yeah,
we're done.
I think we need 50, 60 years to pass. And I think it will actually realistically come out 2025.
Okay.
So that means they're starting tomorrow.
3 years.
Starting it next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Directed by Taika Waititi.
Yep.
I think that'll be the what's his name? The Marvel Hat Man, Kevin Feige. The Kevin Feige one, I think, is more likely to be 10 than the Taika. film. But who knows?
It's the same one.
They're all this movie actually is gonna have 3 directors. Okay, for me, I'm gonna say I want it to be like 400 to 500 years. I want it even further. Like I need space between when Rise of Skywalker happens and the next one, and I want it to do more of like what here's kind of what the galaxy has looked like, maybe in a time of peace and prosperity, and then bad things happen. Maybe a little more like
the dark side,
the prequels.
What you're gonna try and do
in a way.
You own the Light of the Jedi book, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I need to read it.
That's the story.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the Star Wars stories.
I'm gonna split the difference between you guys and go 2027. I like the time. I like being in timeout, but I don't like being in timeout that long. So
I just don't think they'll sit on it.
No, for sure. I
see. Here's the thing:
if they can figure it out, they'll push it through as fast as possible.
You said episode 10, though. Uh-huh. I'm not saying there won't be other Star Wars.
No, yeah.
Because we'll have Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron.
Didn't that get canceled?
No. Yes, but no.
It got put on the shelf.
And
Patty Jenkins will leave it, and then it will get a new director, and then it will be made. Maybe Tony Gilroy.
I think she already left, didn't she?
I think it was one of those things where it's put on the shelf for now, but they're wanting her to come back and actually do that. Like it's a little bit like the Rian Johnson thing. Like it's on the shelf. It's not happening right now, but Lucasfilm would like to make it happen.
Rogue Squadron has finally been grounded.
Yeah. Get whoever worked on Rogue One or Andor is what Easton says. Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy.
The savior of Rogue One.
Over in the chat,
now, the savior of Disney
we have
Plus.
a couple questions.
Yeah.
Easton asks, with Oscar season coming up, what Oscar movie are you most excited for? And does Top Gun Maverick win a single award? Even though it was great.
If there was
Even though it was great. I'm trying to think of Oscar movies that are coming out. Those are old movies.
The one that I'm most excited for right now, that I saw a trailer for, we didn't mention this in trailers, just like last week, is The Causeway. I think it's out now on Apple TV Plus, and I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. But that's
Apple TV going back to back.
Apple TV Plus, and that's with Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree. No.
Yes.
Brian Tyrese.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Tyree Henry. Tyree Henry. Yeah.
Earn that paycheck, Tyrese.
I think that right now is one of my
Mine's The Fabelmans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's right.
Is gonna be awesome.
Mine is Twisters, starring Helen Hunt.
That's not coming out this year.
No, I just had to.
Not with that attitude.
I had to bring it in somehow. I did Google is Helen Hunt signed on for Twisters 2 yet, and no, she still hasn't.
Sad day.
You need to make a Twitter account of this, like every day.
I'm sure there is one. I just
tweet out no.
We should just retweet it every day.
Perfect. Let's do it. And I think Top Gun Maverick's probably one of those movies that will get snubbed. I say snubbed. I just don't think it quite falls into any of the big nominee categories that actually get.
That's why they need a stunts category.
Yeah.
I think the more technical things, like your production design, your cinematography, those types.
I think maybe cinematography could.
I think it will get nominated, but I don't know if it will
win.
win. Because I think whatever it's nominated for, I think the Batman could be too.
Fair, yeah.
That was going to be my question: is does the Batman win anything?
Yeah.
God, I hope so.
Game Lord Master over in the chat. Here's an opinion question: is James Gunn heading the DCU? Wait. With James, I think he means with James Gunn heading the DCU. Should he let the Flash movie see the light of day? Oh, okay. Should James Gunn cancel the Flash movie?
I don't think he has that power.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I would say that...
I think it's if James Gunn is heading the DCU.
But he is heading the DCU.
Yeah. I think anything that has been decided prior to his arrival, I don't think he has any say over. So... I think
the only
it'll come out. It already has a sequel written,
and they're actively reshooting it right now. So like
the only person who has the ability to kill the Flash movie is Ezra Miller.
True.
If
and they have tried their hardest.
If they continue to just 6 months, they just need to hide in their little cabin in Vermont.
Oh, they already did that. Different cabin, maybe in a different state. Maybe leave the U.S. entirely.
Maybe hide in a police
Lefty also
jail.
has this Gears of War casting question.
Yeah.
And I have my answer.
Okay, so I think, to go back to his Flash question, I don't think James Gunn has that power. I do think the Flash movie will see the light of day, unless Ezra does something truly horrific.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
You had a
So Lepke had asked, or Game Lore Master in the chat had asked, who's your cast? And I'm just gonna cast the 4 main guys. So Marcus, Dom, Baird, and Cole. There's a lot of fan casts for like some big actors in terms of popularity. I'm gonna choose big actors. And I don't know if it's realistic, but Bautista for Marcus, Javier Bardem for Dom, Chris Pine for Baird, and this is the smallest actor of them all, Lester Spate for Cole. Lester Spate voices Cole, and he kind of is just, the model for that character. So I think he does some acting. He'll be cheap. All he has to do is be loud and rambunctious, and I think he can do that. I think the reason I would want Bautista and Bardem for Marcus and Dom is that is the emotional crux.
Big actors in the literal sense.
Yeah, I think Chris Pine would be by far the smallest person in this cast.
I would cast Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as every role because he's the only person big enough.
So like,
except for Carmine, which I would then cast
Emily Blunt.
No, his arch enemy.
Chris Pratt.
What's his name?
John Cena.
Dude, he's a popular choice for Baird.
I am Vin Diesel.
Oh. So like
Roman Reigns.
I hate all of the like. Everybody was like Chris Pratt, Ryan Reynolds, and it's like no, keep those dudes out of this. Especially like somebody had Chris Pratt for Marcus. I was like, absolutely not. That would be a horrible decision. I think you want somebody who's a little bit gruff, and I think.
You should watch The Terminal List. I'm not saying he'd be good for the role, but
right.
Wait, did you talk about that? That Cliffy B.
Okay, Cliff
has voice support for Dave
Cliffy
Bautista.
Cliffy B is back on my good list. Thank you, Cliff.
For Dave Bautista to play Marcus Phoenix.
I'm just really on board with him playing Marcus Phoenix. I think Dave Bautista is a better actor than he probably gets credit for. So.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be one of those actors who, over the next 5 years, just really
kind of takes off.
Yeah. Get the guy who played the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
He could be General Ram.
Oh yeah, the guy I never beat and quit playing the game forever.
Man, Luke, I know you don't like Gears, but come on now, let me be excited, please.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be good, but I'm so pumped.
All right,
what's happening.
I think that's a good opportunity, good place for us.
I thought that was good casting.
To finish our episode. Real quick, I want to just shout out the Movie Moron podcast. I have my Banshees of Inisherin. Inisherin is over there full, like, we do a solid 20 minutes of non-spoilers and then like another hour of we just dive into it. I think that this is one of those movies that actually will probably have some Oscar buzz for the actors. But yeah, The Movie Moron. Find them wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. But I know they're on Spotify for sure. It's out now. Yeah, you don't have to even wait. Just as soon as this is over, go over and watch it. You can, of course, write us for Fanbox questions at the email, whatthefanboy@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.